Hello everyone. On this channel, I feel that information about what is happening in China is often not correctly conveyed to countries other than China, so I will be disseminating the information I have gathered in English. I'm getting information from multiple media, so I'd be happy if you could comment on the content of the video. Also, my native language is not English, so I use an AI speaker to create the voice to convey the information correctly. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and support us. This time, I will explain the fact that China continues to bashing Japan. The Chinese Communist Party has been sending information to the world that Japan is planning to pollute the ocean. For quite some time, the Chinese media has been running tales about Japan's attempt to pollute the sea with dangerous radioactive materials. This is well known among Chinese people, and some Chinese people ask Chinese people living in Japan whether it is okay for them to stay in Japan. If Japan is dangerous, China's nuclear power plants are much more dangerous, but it seems that some Chinese people seriously think that Japan is doing dangerous things. People living in Japan understand that treated water is not dangerous, but it seems that some people are affected because the Chinese Communist Party is making a fuss. You can also see calm opinions overseas. There are opinions that if the treated water is really dangerous, Japan will suffer the most damage, and since Japan has made the decision, it cannot be dangerous. And since the treated water flows in the direction of the United States due to ocean currents, it is said that the United States will not remain silent if it is really dangerous. Therefore, experts around the world are of the opinion that there is no problem with treated water from a safety point of view. The ones making the fuss are China and South Korea, which are largely immune to treated water. This is related to the patriotic policy of the Chinese Communist Party. It may be difficult to understand the relationship between patriotism and Japan bashing, but I will briefly introduce it. The Chinese Communist Party can no longer persuade the public by saying that communist socialism is great. In China, the disparity is widening, and the Communist Party's cadres have become a privileged class, and their status is inherited by their children and grandchildren, so it has become like a class society. In it, the communist regime claims that China is a great country in order to justify the rule of the Communist Party, because people cannot believe that all socialist and communist countries are rich and all are equal. And while the concept of China includes the Chinese people, Chinese civilization, Chinese history, etc., this great culture is also at risk. Even now, Chinese people are bullied by various countries, so the logic is that it is the Communist Party that protects the Great China. So we need to talk about forces that are endangering our Great China. Japan has become a target of being a dangerous force for China. As you all know, the story is made that it was the Communist Party that protected China from Japan. It creates the impression that Japan is endangering the world with radioactive materials, and the logic is that it is the Communist Party that protects the environment from that dangerous act, or protects China's security. That's why I've been telling the world in English that Japan is about to do something dangerous. Many Japanese people don't know that China continues to bashing Japan in English. Japan also needs to explain accurate information not only in Japanese but also to foreign countries. The purpose of making this channel is to protect Japan from this attack on Japan by China. As you can see from the fact that the United States, which is likely to suffer the most damage among foreign countries, has not said anything, it is not dangerous, but if we keep silent, the opinion of the country with the loudest voice, that is, China, will spread. Even if it is a lie, if it continues to be advertised, the image of Japan will deteriorate. Here, I would like to introduce an article from the Sankei Shimbun. An article in the Sankei Shimbun dated July 4 mentions the amount of tritium released. In China, there is a nuclear power plant that discharges treated water containing 6.5 times more tritium than Fukushima Daiichi. China will always take a heavy-handed attitude toward its enemies no matter what their country does, while the rest of the world is quiet. If I say that Japan is dangerous, people will ask if my country is okay. So countries other than China will not point out Japan's treated water. If other countries were to do such irrational things, I think they would argue that China was doing something strange, but in Japan, this kind of important information is not known. The Communist Party is spreading propaganda to the world that will damage Japan's image. However, the Japanese people are not familiar with the propaganda, so the image of Japan in the world is getting worse without the Japanese knowing. In China, more and more people have a negative image of Japan. China's information is manipulated, so it is not known that China's nuclear power plants are dangerous. There are a lot of Chinese people who think that Japan alone is the only one doing dangerous things because they don't know. In addition, Hong Kong has announced that it will stop importing seafood from Japan. In China, information spreads that Japanese food is dangerous because Japan is trying to pollute the ocean. There is also talk that the tuna cutting show has been postponed due to the situation where 100% of seafood imports from Japan must be inspected in Dalian. It means that information is being spread not only in Hong Kong but throughout China that Japan is doing something outrageous. Chinese media such as the Global Times have been persistently spreading information about Japan's treated water for a long time, saying that Japan is trying to pollute the sea. I would appreciate it if those who listen to this channel could refute the strange information in the Chinese media. That's all for now. See you next time.